They sold my inheritance for $400,000, not a piece of it, not a share. The whole thing, Grandpa's house, the land behind it, 22 years of memories, gone before I even finished packing up his kitchen. My parents told everyone it was what he would have wanted. They didn't know about the letter, and by the time they found out, it was already too late. My name is Elena. I'm 28. For most of my life, that sentence would have been followed by a comparison to my older sister Megan. Megan, the golden child. Megan, the responsible one. Megan, who got the car at 16, the tuition check at 18, and the applause at every family dinner for simply showing up on time. I was the quiet one. The one who sat with Grandpa Harold on the back porch while everyone else was inside, arguing about politics and property taxes. The one who helped him label boxes in the attic when his knees started to go. The one who drove him to dialysis every Tuesday for 11 months without telling anyone because he asked me not to make a fuss. He used to say, "Alina, you listen more than you talk. That's rare. Don't let anyone convince you it's a weakness." I held on to that. When Grandpa died in October, I thought the hard part was losing him. I was wrong. The hard part started 3 days later, when my mother Linda sat me down in her kitchen and said, "We're handling the estate. You don't need to worry about any of it." I should have heard the warning. Instead, I nodded. I was grieving. I trusted her. Megan was already on Zillow. The letter wasn't dramatic. That's what people never understand about the moments that change everything. They aren't cinematic. They're quiet. It was a Tuesday. The last Tuesday. Grandpa's dialysis bag was running low, and the nurse on the night shift was distracted, so I stayed an extra hour. When I finally went in to say goodbye, he was awake, more awake than he'd been in weeks. He asked me to lock the door. Then he reached under his pillow and handed me an envelope. Plain white. My name written in his handwriting, the careful slanted script he'd used since before I was born. "Don't open this until I'm gone," he said, "and don't tell your mother." Not yet. I asked him what was inside. He looked at me for a long time. "Proof," he said. "Proof that I wasn't as forgetful as they think I am." I put the envelope in my bag. I drove home. I cried in the parking garage for 20 minutes. 2 days later, he was gone. I didn't open the letter at the funeral. I didn't open it at the wake. I opened it on a Thursday night, alone in my apartment, with a cup of tea going cold beside me. Inside was a notarized amendment to his will, dated 6 months earlier, and a handwritten note on the back of a photograph of us on the porch. The note said, "They've been asking questions they shouldn't be asking. This is for you." Let them talk first. I read the amendment 3 times. Grandpa hadn't left the house to my parents to manage. He'd left it to me entirely, with a trust clause that made any sale without my signature not just invalid, but actionable. $400,000, sitting in a house my mother was already calling the estate asset. I folded the letter. I put it in a safe deposit box, and I waited. I found out about the sale from Megan because Megan couldn't help herself. She called me on a Wednesday afternoon, breathless with excitement, and said, "Mom and Dad got an offer on Grandpa's place. $400,000. Isn't that amazing?" I said, "I didn't know it was on the market." Silence. Then, "Well, you weren't really involved in the estate stuff." Mom said it was easier this way. "Easier for whom?" I asked when the closing was. "Next month," she said. "We're splitting it 3 ways, obviously. Mom and Dad are taking their third for all the expenses they covered. Megan gets her third, and you'll get yours, Elena. Don't worry." I wasn't worried about getting my third. I was looking at a notarized document that said they weren't entitled to $1 until I signed off. But I said, "That's great, Meg. I'm happy for you." She heard what she wanted to hear. Over the next 3 weeks, I watched from a distance. My mother posted a photo of herself at the realtor's office. My father told his golf buddies he was finally putting Harold's mess to rest. Megan started Pinterest boards for kitchen renovations. Not one of them called to ask if I wanted to walk through the house one last time. Not one of them asked if I was okay. Grandpa's house, the porch where he taught me to play cards, the attic where we found his old Navy uniform, the kitchen where he made soup from whatever was left in the fridge, was being sold out from under me by the people who'd spent 2 years asking him how much the land was worth. I let them talk, just like the letter said. Thanksgiving was at my parents' house. Of course it was. Megan arrived first, carrying a bottle of wine and a folder of countertop samples. She spread them across the dining table like she was presenting a client pitch. "I think we go with the marble," she said. "My third covers the renovation easy." My mother beamed. "Your grandfather would be so proud." I sat with my hands around a mug of cider and said nothing. My father clapped me on the shoulder. "Alina, you're awfully quiet. You okay?" I told him I was fine, just tired. He smiled. "Well, once this sale closes, everything settles down. Your mother handled it all. You don't need to stress." That's when I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because he'd said the exact same thing Grandpa warned me about in the note. Let them talk first. Dinner happened. Megan talked about tile. My mother talked about the buyer, a couple from the city, cash offer, no inspection contingencies. My father talked about finally being able to breathe without that old house dragging everyone down. At one point, my mother said, "Harold just wasn't thinking clearly at the end. It's good we stepped in." I set down my fork. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't storm out. I ate my mashed potatoes. I complimented the stuffing. I hugged everyone goodbye at the door. And I drove to the bank the next morning and asked them to confirm that my safe deposit box was accessible on the date of the scheduled closing. The teller said yes. I said thank you. I didn't hire a lawyer out of rage. I hired one because Grandpa's amendment had a name on it. Margaret Chen, a state attorney 2 towns over. Her number was printed at the bottom of the page in his handwriting, with a note, "Call her when you're ready." I was ready the Monday after Thanksgiving. Margaret Chen was in her 60s, with reading glasses on a chain and the kind of calm that made you feel like the room had been organized while you weren't looking. I handed her the envelope. She read it without expression. Then she said, "He came to me twice. The second time, he brought recordings." Recordings. Grandpa had recorded 2 conversations, one with my mother, one with my father, asking him directly about changing the will, about simplifying things, about whether Elena really needed the property since she wasn't established yet. In both recordings, he said no, clearly, on the record. Margaret had filed the amendment properly, witnessed, notarized, registered. They can sell that house, she said, and they can take the money, but the sale won't be legal, and the buyer's title company is going to have a very bad afternoon. I asked what I should do. She looked at me over her glasses. "Nothing dramatic. Let the closing happen. Then we send the letter." I asked how long I'd have to wait. She said, 2 weeks, maybe less if they rush. They rushed. The closing was on a Thursday. I know because Margaret called me at 4:30 with one sentence, "It happened." On Friday morning, my phone exploded. Not from me, from them. 7 missed calls from my mother, 4 from my father. 3 voicemails from Megan, each one angrier than the last. The title company had flagged the deed. Margaret's letter had arrived at the same time as the buyer's wire transfer. The sale was frozen pending review of a competing claim and a notarized amendment filed 6 months before the listing. My mother showed up at my apartment at 6:15 in the morning on Saturday. I let her in. She didn't sit down. "What did you do?" I told her the truth. I didn't do anything. Grandpa did, 6 months ago. She said I was tearing the family apart over a house. I said, "You sold it without asking me. You told everyone I wasn't involved. You told your golf friends Grandpa wasn't thinking clearly." She had no answer for that. On Monday, Margaret scheduled a formal reading at her office. My parents came. Megan came. The buyer's attorney came on speakerphone. Margaret read Grandpa's original will. Then she read the amendment. Then she played 30 seconds of the recording, my mother's voice, sweet and patient, asking Harold if they could handle the property as a family since Elena was too emotional to make decisions. Grandpa's voice, tired but clear. "The house is Elena's. Stop asking." The room went silent. The buyers withdrew. The $400,000 sat in escrow, frozen. My father's lawyer, the one he'd hired without telling me, advised them to settle. They settled, not with lawyers. With me at Margaret's conference table on a Wednesday afternoon. The house came back off the market. My parents signed an agreement acknowledging the amendment. Megan stopped talking about marble countertops. My father didn't clap my shoulder anymore. I didn't sell the house. I kept it. I fixed the porch. I planted tomatoes in Grandpa's garden the way he used to, in soil that was never as good as he pretended it was. Sometimes Megan drives past and slows down. She hasn't asked to visit. My mother sent a birthday card in March. No message inside. Just her name. I haven't blocked her. I just don't call back. People ask if I feel guilty. No guilt is for people who did something wrong. I listened to my grandfather. I waited. I let them talk themselves into a corner they built with their own hands. They sold my $400,000 inheritance like I wouldn't notice. Like I wasn't paying attention. Like the quiet granddaughter was too soft to do anything about it. Grandpa knew better. He left me the house. He left me the letter. He left me proof. Was I wrong? Let me know in the comments. And if your family ever crossed a line over money, I want to hear your story. Scovers, if you want more stories where karma keeps better records than the people who thought you weren't watching.